It is finally September. And if you've been watching any of my Orioles content throughout the years, I've told you, wake me up when September starts as the games mean a little bit more. As the Orioles, with only 24 games remaining, head into a stretch run in a tight division race. With the win today over the Colorado Rockies by a score of 6-1, winning the series and finishing with a 500 road trip after facing the Dodgers and Colorado Rockies. They return home to face the worst team in the league, the Chicago White Sox, on Labor Day. It's the Baltimore Orioles postgame show. God's favorite host is back, and the Orioles look to be back in the playoff race again after a big win today. Make sure you guys go ahead, swing for the fences, subscribe if you're new, strike out that like button, leave us a thumbs up, and make sure you go ahead and bunt that bell for all notifications, Orioles content on the channel here today. Thank you for being here. It's September, folks. It is September. The Orioles did get a win today against the Colorado Rockies 6-1. This solidifying a series win, thus solidifying a 500 road trip. Yes, they played the Dodgers. The Dodgers are probably the best team in the major leagues right now. They lose 2 out of 3. But they were in every game. That series could have went either way. You go to Colorado, a team with only 51 wins. They did what they were supposed to do. They won the series. They didn't sweep them, but they did overcome some adversity, more injuries, and will return home to face the struggling, is an understatement, White Sox. I've been kind of sitting back in the shadows, and anybody that knows me knows I'm an Orioles fan through and through. I've been watching the games. I've been hearing all the news, all the reports, all the rumors, watching all the storylines unfold. The injuries, the lack of hitting offensively, the inconsistencies in the bullpen, the questionable managerial decisions at times by Brandon Hyde. I don't want to panic, and I don't think you should either, Orioles fans. I said it all along. This is a playoff team. This is a team that is going to make the playoffs. And barring some miraculous all-time collapse, they're going to do that. Now, obviously, with the division being the way it is, we don't know if that's going to be as one of the 3 wildcard teams or as the division leader with that week off that they had last year. Now, considering how last year went, do you even want to win a division because you get that week off? And we've seen how that's doomed teams in the Major League Baseball format. I said it. It's not even a situation of if they're going to make the playoffs, if they win the division. Much like I said with the Ravens. What do you do in the playoffs? Last season, the inexperience showed. The lights were a little too bright. Brandon Hyde got outmanaged. It just didn't go well from the word go. The week off didn't help. It's something that you've seen with a lot of teams, and the Orioles were no stranger to it last season. But skip ahead to this season, since really before the All-Star break, the Orioles have been struggling. They've been playing under 500 baseball, around 500 baseball. The offense has been inept a lot of times. Yes, they lead the league in home runs, and they can hit it far. Chicks dig the long ball. Suns out, guns out. We know all about that. But in the postseason, in the playoffs, when it gets cold and the ball isn't traveling as far, can you move runners in the scoring position with a sacrifice bunt? Can you get on base? Can you hit with runners in scoring position? Can you score without hitting a home run in a 3-2 ball game, in a 4-3 ball game, in a 2-1 pitcher's duel? We know the lineup. They got guys. Santander is having an all-career year before he gets paid. Gunnar Henderson, one of the hottest young players in the league. They got guys in their offense that can do it for them. And I think it's very, very imperative that we as Orioles fans be patient. Let it play out. It's September. Let's put July and August behind us. Let's look at September. Let's look at this team as one of the best teams in the American League in baseball. 79 wins on the cusp of 80 wins. 24 games remaining. A chance to win a division. And still have another series against the Yankees, which probably will decide the division. And an overall opportunity to for the first time since 1983, win a World Series. Let's get to the game today. I want to shout out Zach Eflin. He was on the IL for 2 weeks, 14 days. When I heard the shoulder injury, anytime you hear anything with the arm, shoulder, elbow, with the pitcher, you start to think about that old Jimmy John. And I'm not going to say it because it rhymes with Jimmy John and starts with the T. But you think about those things and the amount of injuries and just the amount of pitchers, not even just with the Orioles, that have been deemed hurt for the rest of the season. And injuries are just really the storyline of this Major League Baseball season. I think whatever team in whatever division or whatever league can get healthy as much as possible, they're going to be the team to watch out for. Eflin, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. 5-0 since the trade deadline from the Tampa Bay Rays to the Baltimore Orioles. And ladies and gentlemen, Mike Elias has done it again, finding another beautiful, beautiful move, another wonderful transaction, and this time getting a guy he called the best pitcher available on the market that was traded. And the good news about Eflin, he signed through next year. So he's healthy, seems like he's good to go. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 9 walks, 9 Ks, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. And if he can get and continue to be what he's doing, 5-0 since being traded to the Orioles, 1.95 ERA. The only other Orioles pitcher to do that, Big Ben McDonald, the broadcaster for the Baltimore Orioles. So he's an elite company. And when you think about things like that, if you got him, you got Corbin Burns, who I think can still get right. He's been a little bit of a lull, but it's good he's getting that out of his system now because we know what he brings to the table, postseason experience. And if he can get a healthy Grayson Rodriguez back, those 3 guys, that 3-headed monster in the rotation, that's going to make the Orioles a tough out. You aren't going to want to see the Orioles, especially in the short series with those 3 guys. You look at the bullpen, they've been better as of late. Soto, a scoreless inning streak. Sir Anthony Dominguez, is he going to be able to get it done as a closer? Time will tell. But Bauman, outside of Eflin, 1 inning, 1 strikeout. Soto, as I mentioned, 1 inning, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts. So that's going to be the key. If the Orioles bullpen can solidify and hold down a lead and don't squander these great starts by Eflin, by hopefully a Grayson Rodriguez when he comes back in a few weeks, because he's in the locker room, he's around the team. So maybe he's close. I think maybe let's see what happens in another 14 days, maybe mid-September. And Corbin Burns, one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. That's your 3-hitter monster. And I can't forget about Big Al. Got to show love to Albert Suarez because he's the Orioles MVP potentially. Where would the Orioles be without Albert Suarez? So you got him, a guy you can even throw in the mix if need be for a couple of innings. So you really got 4 potential pitchers if you got to do it. The bullpen is going to be the key, as we mentioned. And then when you get into the postseason anyway, every game is life or death. So you're probably getting 4 or 5 out of the first guy that goes out there, your starter. And then it's going to the bullpen. You're going all hands on deck to get a win. But big ups to Zach Eflin, showing why the Orioles traded for him, why it was a masterful trade, and why he will be at the front of the Orioles rotation, not only this year, but next year as well. That curveball today was fantastic. It was magnificent. It was majestic. It was having guys swinging left and right like they couldn't see the ball. And he and James McCann had a great chemistry up there today at the dish. And James McCann, he doesn't always show up in the stat sheet what he does offensively, but what he does behind the plate as a leader, calling the game, calling balls and strikes, being that voice with the pitching staff, being that voice in the locker room, anything else he does offensively is a plus. And it seems like him and Eflin have that chemistry because it's not only about the pitcher, it's about the pitcher and catcher relationship. And if you got a catcher back there that can call a good game, he can make your pitcher look even better than he actually is. Gunnar Henderson, he's hard on himself, but he's one of the best players in baseball. And this is his first year being the guy. He goes 2 for 4 today, has 2 runs batted in, stolen base. Gunnar. I think Gunner's going to have a big September heading into October. And I think we're going to see Gunnar get back to his ways and I'm not giving up on this guy. He's playing really good defense at shortstop. His first full season at shortstop. Yes, he's had some errors. Yes, he's had some hiccups. But I'm looking for Gunnar to really turn it up offensively, especially this next stretch run, this last 24 games. Kobe Mayo's back because we know Ramon Urias, he went down as good as he was playing. And as hard as I've been on Urias, he's got a sprained ankle, so we probably won't see him for a few weeks. On the other hand, it's glad you can go to a guy like Kobe Mayo, the big pop, the home run power. Obviously, we haven't seen it at the major league level, but let's give it time. And honestly, Urias, he's a gold glover. We know what he does on defense, but I think Mayo's going to be able to hold his own enough. We know Ryan O'Hearn is hurt. We know Dean Kramer is now hurt. Hopefully, to get Danny Coulon back. It's going to be a battle of attrition. If the Orioles can just get healthy enough, as possible, as close to full health as they can be. Obviously, Kyle Bradish isn't coming back. Mateo, some of those other guys, but Tyler Wells, John Means, Felix Batista this season. But if you can get a Coulon back, hopefully a Jordan Westberg back, hopefully a Grayson Rodriguez back, those three pieces, a frontline starter, a guy who's won what I said he would win probably around 15 games a season, having a breakout year. You get a guy in the bullpen and Coulon back who can hold it down for you, a lefty who can get lefties and righties out with a Perez, with a Cano. That three-headed monster being back in the bullpen, then with the Soto and Dominguez, you might have something. And then, last but not least, getting Jordan Westberg back. Having him in the lineup, having him play probably now third base, because if you got Jackson at second, you got Gunner at short, you put Mayo at third, or do you move Mayo to DH? And then you put that's a good question. Do you put Westberg if he comes back at third, and then you put Mayo at DH, and then you use O'Hearn maybe and Mountcastle still, and then you got Santander and right? Good problem to have. Good problem to have because we need all the bats we can get, and I think Mayo hopefully can provide that spark for us. McCann, as I mentioned, he not only did it behind the plate, he did it with the bat. 2 for 4, had a home run, 2 runs batted in, 2 run shot. He's getting it done. Like I said, his value does not show up in the box score, but boy, is he valuable. He's not going to hit a lot of home runs. He's not going to hit a high average, but he's going to call a great game. He's going to be a great leader in the locker room, and he's really going to help this pitching staff. And he realized early on, yeah, they had a scouting report, but he said it himself. He realized the curveball was working. He realized that the curveball was missing bats, and they stayed with it all day, confusing his Colorado lineup. Jackson Holliday went 1 for 4. Good to see him get a hit. Mullins batted in a run with a bloop single that was misplayed in the outfield. As I mentioned, Kobe Mayo went 1 for 2. He had a run. Eloy Jimenez had a run. He got on base as well. And Santander, continue doing what Santander does, doing Santander things, going 2 for 5. Yeah, he's in a little bit of a low right now. But that's what happens during the season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. They play 162 games. He's not going to be hitting home runs every game. He's going to have a couple weeks where he's down, but he can bounce back. I think guys like Santander, guys like Gunnar Henderson, hopefully a guy like Adley Rutschman, Kobe Mayo, some of these other guys, Jackson Holliday, can really start to wake up. Cedric Mullins can really start to wake up and be who they are offensively. Not asking them to be anything out of the norm, but just be who they are. Hit the way they hit for the power they hit for, and do what they do defensively. And I think the rest will take care of itself. We're in a stretch run, folks. It's only 24 games remaining. They're a half game back, as we know the Yankees did lose today. So let's look at the standings because like I said, the Yankees did lose to the Cardinals today, 14-7. We got a little bit of a football score, but the Orioles half game back right there, and it would be the number one wild card, as we know. And it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be exhilarating. Every game from here on out, if you can, try to watch it, try to check out what happens because you're going to want to see what happens. And I looked at the Orioles schedule. Thankfully, they're only a half game back. Really, neither team wants to take control of this division, but there's a chance that the Orioles, I think, could go on a run. And I think with the schedule they got coming up, they could really possibly do some damage, I think. And I really, really like what they could potentially do in a stretch run. I think September they could get back to what they're used to and really, really take advantage of the opportunities, the inconsistencies of the Yankees. And I think a AL that is theirs for the taking. If you want to throw a dart at the Yankees, you want to throw a dart at the Orioles, you want to throw a dart at the Guardians or whomever that they could make a run, I won't argue with you. Same thing in the National League. The Brewers, the Dodgers, the Padres. You want to throw any of those other teams in there, the Braves, the Phillies, the Mets even, they're hot. So we know the Orioles do have the White Sox for 3. So that's going to be imperative that they sweep those boys. If they can sweep the White Sox, then we're off to a good start in September. Then they have Tampa. Tampa's struggling. They're under 500, right? They're 67 and 69 right now. Yep. Them and the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are 67 and 72. The Red Sox 70 and 67. But you got them. Then you have the Giants. The Giants aren't really doing anything either. The Giants are another under 500 team, 68 and 69. That's at home. Take advantage and take care of your business there. Then you have Detroit. Yeah, you may see Tark Schoolboo, guy you didn't trade for, guy who's going to win a Cy Young, but they're 70 and 68. So they're still above water, but the Orioles should be able to handle them. So really, September is a favorable month. The White Sox, you have the Tampa Bay Rays, you have the San Francisco Giants, you have the Detroit Tigers. Teams that the Orioles really should beat up on. I think if they can just be who they are, not asking them to do nothing out of the ordinary, continue to hit home runs, hit better with guys in running in scoring position, manufacture runs if you're not using the long ball, hold leads, get 5 or 6 from your starter, bullpen, don't give up leads. Maybe let's get a couple 7-2 wins, 8-5. We need a couple of those. But I'm riding with the Orioles. I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to complain. I said this would happen. I said they would be a playoff team. I said it's all about September and October and what they do in the postseason after last year's debacle. And I think they have a chance to win a division. And I think this year, if they do win a division, they'll be better prepared and equipped to handle what comes with it. But what say you, Orioles fans? What are you looking forward to seeing this season as we head towards a stretch run? We're down to the last 24 games of Orioles baseball. Seems like the season just started. And really, we are getting ready to get into the stretch run. Like I said, if you aren't ready, buckle up your seatbelt, pack your lunch pail, and go ahead and snap your picture. It's going to be high angst, high anxiety, a lot of pressure. But the Orioles have a favorable schedule. It sets up nice. As I mentioned, they have a lot of winnable games the next month. They'll be home a lot, it looks like. And really, I think if they can just be who they are, stay consistent, stay confident, get some guys back, and just rally together, they have a shot to beat anybody in the American League, in my opinion. And they have a shot to win the World Series, in my opinion, as well. Like I mentioned, you can make a case for any of these teams that are going to make playoffs. There isn't one dominant team in Major League Baseball, and I think the team that gets healthiest as possible and can really rally around and really play well in September and October, it's going to be interesting to watch for the Orioles. But let's see. Looks like they're going to get some guys back sooner rather than later. September's the month that we talked about all season, that we can get some guys back. Looks like they're on the way. Help is on the way. And the Flex Zone is here as always. And we're getting you through the grind of 162 with the Orioles. But I'm glad to do another post-game show for you. Got tons of content on the channel. Maryland Terps. Ravens preview coming out for the season. Ravens post-game show this week. Ravens Chiefs preview as well. And week 1 preview and predictions. And NFL season preview and predictions with the Flex Zone on this coming Tuesday. Because we'll be taking the holiday off as well. Wrestling content galore. Previews and live stream from Bash at Berlin and All In last week as well. It's the official Baltimore Orioles post-game show. Swing for the fences and subscribe. Go ahead and bunt that bell and go ahead and strike out that like button. Leave us a thumbs up. Helps us out with the algorithm on YouTube. Lets people know, hey, we like the Flex Zone podcast. We like this Orioles content. We like all their content. And we want other people to learn about it and join the Flex Zone family as well. Orioles win 6-1. Zach Eflin's fantastic. He's going to be important to watch. Mike Elias has done it again. As much as we want to get on Mike Elias about things he may not have done right, just think about the guys he's gotten right. The Zach Eflins, the Yannier Canoes, CNO Perez's, the Ryan O'Hearns, the James McCanns, the Eloy Jimenez's. I mean, come on now. Austin Slater, Rivera, Mayor Rivera. Just so many pieces that he has bought in to make this a winning team that can compete for a pennant and win a World Series championship. But I'm getting ready to get out of here. God's favorite host, Orioles content, Flex Zone Podcast, only place giving you your Orioles content and sports how you want it when you need it. We're in September, folks. I told you wake me up in September. We're heading towards the stretch run. 24 games remaining. It'll be over before you know it. And we'll be heading into October for another Baltimore Orioles postseason run. More postseason, more post-game shows coming, more Orioles content, shorts, and content as well. And let me know what you want to see down in the comment section. What do you think about this team? Can they win a division? Are they a wild card team? How far can they go? And what are your concerns? And what do you think about the injury situation as well? I'm looking forward to a big September for the Orioles. I think it sets up nicely. And I think in about 2 or 3 weeks, we could be sitting pretty, potentially, with the division lead. We'll see how it plays out, though. God's favorite host, signing off. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for watching. O's win 6-1. Win number 79 on the season. 1 away from 80. They'll be home tomorrow for Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to you. And they'll be taking on the lowly Chicago White Sox with 31 and 107. But if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Love you. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.